Welcome to Season 5 and the revelation that Varys is in for a Targaryen restoration. For some viewers that must seem out of the blue since he's been working for Robert and Tywin since the rebellion.
But this conspiracy has been equally as long in the making. Think back to Season 1. Remember when Arya chased a cat and stumbled upon the dragon skulls? Remember the conversation she overheard about events moving too quickly, Khal Drogo moving too slowly?
They also said that there will be more than 2 players in the War to Come, which just so happens to be the name of this episode.
The 2 men Arya overheard were Varys and Illyrio Mopatis, the same Illyrio who owns the lovely mansion Tyrion's presently befouling.
Illyrio and Varys are definitely old friends. Whether or not Varys is telling the truth about how they met, we can say that they have been plotting to dig up a Targaryen and put him or her on the throne for a long time. Illyrio's massive fortune has been fueling this conspiracy. He convinced Viserys that he could buy an army by selling his sister to Khal Drogo. He also gave Dany her dragon eggs.
It is weird that Varys attempted an assassination of Dany via the wine merchant in Season 1, but it was Robert who ordered the attempt. The spider twisted the order, using it to push her towards Westeros. Varys knew through his spy Jorah Mormont that Drogo didn't want to go west, but when someone clumsily tried to kill his wife and unborn son, he lost it, and swore in front of his Khalasar that he would take that iron chair.
Varys talks game about the good of the realm and finding a leader who is just and merciful and made of care bears and dragons. But when they started this entire plot, the person they seemed to be backing was Viserys, who is criminally insane. I'm skeptical that Varys' support for the House of Fire and Blood is all about rainbows and unicorns.
Maybe it's all about power. But Illyrio is already Lannister rich. He lives better than any king of Westeros, and Varys could opt to do the same with him at any time.
But there is another possibility, one that is a little speculative, but I think is quite convincing.
Let's recall what we know about Varys. Oberyn picked up that Varys is from Lys,
I have an ear for accents. I've lost my accent entirely.
another free city near Pentos, known for its brothels. Varys tells Tyrion in Season 3 that he grew up as part of a touring theater troupe, at least until a wizard chopped off his manhood and threw it in the fires.
Varys is extremely protective of this information. He's told no one that he's Lyseni, and no one but Tyrion knows his man parts were used in a horrible blood magic spell.
So, once again, we have fire and we have blood. Remind me again, whose blood is usually super powerful when thrown into flames in this world?
King's blood. Robert Baratheon was intent on killing all Targaryens, but he couldn't. Targaryens used to spray bastards all over the place, and long story short, many of them ended up returning east. Some of them likely ended up in Lys.
The only other person from across the Narrow Sea who refers to Westeros as our country is Daenerys. People seem to think Varys is bald, but it's just as likely that he shaves his head. Maybe that's because he'd stand out more as a secret Targ if he had white blonde locks.
Varys, who even has a Targaryen-sounding name, is a distant cousin of Daenerys's. They share a great-great-grandfather who was a Targaryen king, and Varys wants to reclaim the power he thinks is his by birth, by putting a Targaryen on the throne and being that person's right-hand man. It's just a theory, but why else would a foreigner care so damn much about a backwater like Westeros while hiding so much about himself?
Speaking of blood magic, the walking bad idea that is Cersei Lannister couldn't resist partaking of some of her own as a child.
Prophecy interpretation. Now we're really in high fantasy. The 3 kids being crowned and buried, I think, are self-explanatory. Sorry, Tommen and Marcella.
And we know the king she wed was Robert. But the prince Cersei mentions can only be Rhaegar Targaryen,
I've been promised to the prince.
Dany's brother, Robert's nemesis, and probably Jon Snow's dad.
But this other queen, who is younger and more beautiful, well, the most obvious answer is Marjorie Tyrell. Natalie Dormer is more beautiful than basically everyone.
But prophecies are rarely so obvious. Dany is a younger, more beautiful queen.
And let's not forget younger, more beautiful Marcella. But would she really destroy everything her own mother holds dear?
I know who'd like to do that. Sansa. With her brothers dead, or at least presumed dead, she's the rightful heir to Robb's throne.
And Littlefinger is taking her west, maybe to reclaim her crown.
Next week, it looks like Arya finally makes it to Braavos, which means we can share some cool stuff about that city and its bizarre history.
So tune in then to House Slate.